Hello, welcome to Play Your Character. This is Jack the Questionable here, and seeing how this is the first episode, we're going to go over on how to join a group and sort of the etiquettes on what to do, and my past experiences with new players and my own experience with joining a new group, and sort of how that can translate into what happens into the game. So for me, myself, when I joined a group about 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I was in college, and this group was playing D&D 3rd edition, and they're off in the cafeteria. I was in a different spot, but I kept on hearing them laugh and just hysterically explain scenarios, and so I went over there, and they were nice enough, and it took me a while, a couple weeks to ask if I could join or see what's going on. I was kind of intimidated on what was going on. So yeah, I joined up. I asked if I can play, but they said that I should probably sit and see one first, and that's very true. You shouldn't have your player sit in the game first before having him play a character. He might not like it. He might ruin the game. But I'll go on with that in a bit. For me, I sat and played. My first character was a cleric in Karandrin. Very hard name to say, so we went with CD, and it was a very funny first character. What happened was, he was a cleric of Cord the Cord is the god of strength, wrestling, very fist fighting, very strong. His strength was 8, which is very extremely low. I was the worst, probably disciple of Cord, as to I couldn't lift anything or punch anything. In fact, my first run-in with a werewolf, actually, I rolled the dice. He said I hit. I said okay. So I rolled my damage, and he said how much, and I said 0 because I rolled a 1 and I had a -1 for modifier. So I said I hit him for 0, and the DM looks at me and goes, "You hit him for 0?" Yeah. It said I rolled 1 and it's a -1. So he looked at it and he goes, no. You always do 1 damage. I said, okay. So I hit him for 1, and the rest of the characters went, okay, you're sitting in the back, you're just going to heal. I said, okay, I'm just going to heal. So my god is the god of strength. He gives me the strength of 0, and I do nothing but heal people. But that was my character. They needed a cleric. I just played a cleric. Other groups, as time went on, I realized I probably rolled wrong or rolled poorly or something. I don't know. I still had fun with that character. Sorry. So to join the new group, I'd suggest going to a local game store who sells D&D products like this one. Not Barnes & Noble. Don't go to Barnes & Noble. But there'll be other stores in probably your area that do sell that and have a game room. So if they have a game room, you should probably ask if there's groups open, if they have a posting on the wall for looking for group. Looking for group is a good website for looking for group things. If you want to do it online, you can do it online. I don't mess with Roll20 just yet. I'm going to eventually, but right now I have tabletop games. I have my own groups. You'll see in the postings. So your first game, when you don't have a character, he says to sit in there quietly. You can sit quietly. You can ask some questions. Don't ask a whole lot. Just if you have a question, hold it off until like a quiet moment when the DM's looking through books. You can ask your other player characters, but not during combat, but when players like outside of combat, maybe. If one player's outside of combat, go ahead, ask them questions. But if they're in combat, I don't suggest asking questions. Just then wait until after combat, because a lot of the players are gonna be like, hold on, I gotta figure out this thing. So, especially if they have a killer DM, if they have a killer DM, just roll with it. Roll with it. If it kills your character, have fun, make a new character. If your character dies in the first session, mine didn't, luckily, but we didn't have that much combat in it. It's mostly role playing. But if your character dies in the first game, don't threat. Don't be like, oh shit, I hate this game, I lost. No, there's no losing. There's no losing in this game, especially in D&D or Pathfinder or whatever role-playing game suits your fancy. Other players who decide to join a game, for the DM side, if a person really wants to join a game, let him sit down in the game, see if he'll work with the party dynamic. If he doesn't, well, it's kind of hard to say. I know it's kind of hard to say, no, you can't play, I'm sorry. Well, you kind of have to. If he doesn't work with the party dynamic, then maybe perhaps some of the other party members can say, but you have the final say on things. Maybe the friend who brought them said, oh man, I don't know if I can bring you every time, or well, that would be lying. So just be truthful and be like, well, I already have too many people. If you have like 5 or 6 or more people, then that's probably one more probably would be hurting. I did run a game that was 9 people, and that was very, very taxing on my head. There was too much going on, and I eventually had to be like, okay, I gotta cut this down. But if you have like 4 players, you could always add a 5th. If you have 5 players, maybe you can add 6. If you have 3, obviously you can do 4. For your other DMs, when a person sits down and goes, I played D&D before, make sure they've played D&D before. Make sure they played the edition that you're playing, because, and it's a simple up question, is what's your character's AC, or if they answered 10, then they probably played a different edition. If they go, well, I'm playing a thief, then probably they played a different edition. You know, like this edition has thief and not rogues, but thief, or not bards. So if they're playing a bard in this edition, there is no bards, or there is maybe in the advanced classes. But let's say you're playing this edition, this 5th edition, new edition, and they're playing a cleric, and the cleric has buff spells, then they're playing the wrong edition. There are no clerics with buff spells in this. I learned quickly. But we'll help them make a character, ask them what they're playing, watch their rolls, obviously, if you've never played with them before. I've had that where I didn't watch players' rolls, and he was like, I rolled 4 18s. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's very, very, very slim. And I've actually seen it once where a person rolled 3 18s. 3 18s, a 16, and then 2 12s, I think. And I was like, alright, yeah, you got the best character. And he proceeded to be the dumbest character. He proceeded to be the dumbest player in the game. Looking at you, Berg. But, so, he wasn't the dumbest, but whatever. So I'll help them out there. If they have a book, great. If they don't, let them borrow a book. Just, tell them to be careful with it, because some of these books can get awfully tore up. My Pathfinder book is awfully tore up on the binding because I lent it out. And I lent it out because I was the only one with the book, I was the only one who wanted to play Pathfinder. And I've had I've had to do a lot of moving around too, but you know, it's just a book, really, and there's always going to be rehashes of the book, just like AD&D. My AD&D book is gone, so I had to get this one. It's fine though. If you lend out books, make sure you get them back, obviously. Let's see. And if you join a group, just make sure you can be scheduled with that group. Oftentimes I've had to be like, I can't join your group, I'm working then. Or they're playing Friday nights, great, I can play Friday nights. Well, then one night they'll be like, we gotta switch it up to Wednesday nights. Or I can't play Wednesday nights, I'm doing other stuff. You gotta leave the group. You can't be like, oh, I'm gonna just rush over there right after work and maybe it'll be good. If you're constantly 30 minutes late to an hour late, maybe you can talk your group to playing late, or just play in a different group. Try and join a different group. It happens. It happens a lot, and it just can't be helped. So back to I know I'm gonna be random on this. Back to the editions, like 5th edition. So I was running 3.5, which I don't have right now. Someone's borrowing it, of course. But so I was this one, boom, 3.5. Anyway, so I was running 3.5. I was in the Navy. We were doing it on the ship while we were on deployment, which is fine as long as everybody's off. So I was running 3.5, and one guy wanted to join the group, and I said, okay, cool, you know D&D? Yeah, I played for years. I said, okay, and he's like, can't. And this is recently when Pathfinder came out, within the last couple of years, and he's like, I want to play a summoner from Pathfinder. I said, well, I don't know, Pathfinder's a little bit different. It's got a lot of different rules than 3.5. Obviously, a lot of things are the same, like fighter, almost the same. It's got different rules, but it's almost the same. It can be almost, integrated. But he wanted to play a summoner, and it's very different, and I didn't like that. But he's like, I want to play a summoner. I really, really do. I said, all right. Everybody else is playing 3.5 characters, but you can play a summoner as long as you contain the rules of 3.5. So he said, okay. I said, okay. So in game, he wasn't a very good player. He wasn't a very good player all around. So we played on the mess decks, which is a cafeteria in the ship, and he worked on the mess decks, and he's like, I got the time. I said, okay. So he sat down, and 30 minutes in, he's like, oh wait, I gotta do this with work. So he went off and did work, and I was like, oh, shoot, well, let's wait for about 10 minutes and then we'll keep turning. So an hour passed. Obviously we've continued already. He jumps back in. He's like, I'm here, I can play. I'm like, dude, you're working. Go work, man. No, I can play. So eventually I killed his character because he was very annoying, and he just wasn't getting scheduled down. We were off at that time. He wasn't technically off. He was just coming around on his breaks, and he was basically missing work. And I didn't want him to get in trouble, but I had to kill this character off because he was the most annoying goddamn player I've had for a while, and I shit you not. He's playing a summoner, which is okay. It's not breaking the rules. It's just very different. He can summon creatures, and then after a while they go away, and he has a familiar called Eidolon. And I don't know how to explain it. It was like a velociraptor. That was his familiar, was a velociraptor. I said, okay, well, then your character's got to be incredibly weak. If you're going to have a Velociraptor as your freaking familiar at level 3, then your character's going to be incredibly weak. It's like, okay, alright, so we played, and they got in a scuffle, and here was the main problem with him, was the group was over here, and he was over here. You know, he was constantly just leaving the group, which is the most, I don't even know, we only played 2 sessions with him, but he was the most distracted player. I wasn't even distracting him. He was just like, I want to go and do this. I'm like, the group is doing this, you might want to join the group. And he's like, no, I'll be right back with the group, I want to go do this. And I let him do it a couple times, but man, they wanted to go on adventure. He wanted to go kill himself, I guess. You know, he wasn't very fun. I killed off his character because he didn't make good choices. He actually turned his character evil, and the players killed him because they went onto this island in very El Dorado fashion. He became the tribe's god because he had a Velociraptor under his control, and you can summon other creatures. So he became the tribe's god, and instead of being good, when it came to the characters coming around, because he kind of jumped the story here, the characters came around and looked at him and went, whoa, it's you. Oh yeah, it's you. And he was like, imprison them. And they were like, no. And the barbarian raged, and I said, roll initiative. I didn't care. So he had guards, but the guards were incompetent. And he died. He died horribly. Which I feel sorry, but I don't feel sorry because he just couldn't hang with the group. So it happens. Other than that, just go with the group. If it's your first session, just go with what the group says. There's usually a leader in the group who's like the thief or the fighter, maybe. A lot lately, the fighter has been like the dumbest, and I don't get that, but I kind of get that. Usually it's the thief, or maybe even like the mage is your leader, which is fine. But if the leader says something, you might want to do what he says. If the DM is really suggesting to do something, go do it. Because I was like, really, you might want to get with the group. He's like, no, I want to do this. Alright, sure. He died horribly. Look at my notes. When you build a character, I don't suggest playing a summoner. Even if you're playing Pathfinder, I don't suggest playing a summoner right off the bat. If you're playing a character, I'd play fighter, rogue, maybe. No, I don't suggest rogue, because if they're looking for a rogue, maybe, because rogue is very hard to play. First time out, you will die to traps, inevitably. Any rogue will die to traps inevitably, but you will certainly die to traps. So, fighter, yes. Sorcerer, yes. If you want to get down spells, sorcerer. Bard, yes, but you will die. I'm gonna say it right now. If you play a bard, you most likely might die. It's very hard to play. For D&D and Pathfinder, that was a bit heavy. What was the other one? Cleric. I played Cleric first. Everybody said Cleric is not the way to go, but I played Cleric first. I had fun with it. As long as I got the spells down, I could. So I never really saw the heat of playing Cleric. It was fun. So if you want to play Cleric, go ahead and play Cleric, but just remember, you got to get your spells down. You got to, spells are kind of complicated. Druid, I don't suggest playing first. because then it's you and a familiar. You gotta know you and your familiar are two separate creatures, two separate things, and your familiar will die if you send it to combat all the time. Until you get things straightened out. Let's see, let me think of the other classes. Let me get the book out real quick. No. If there's any other classes, fighter already went over. Let's see. I think I got all the classes down. Paladin. Yeah, Paladin. Okay, so if you're playing in this, which might have Paladin, if it does have Paladin, try for Paladin. You have to start as fighter. If you're playing this, or I don't have the 3.5. If you're playing 5th edition or 3.5, it's kind of hard to play as Paladin. Paladins are very, very, very limited on their abilities. They're very limited, period. So I don't suggest Paladin as your first player character. I suggest Paladin as a character, but I don't suggest as your first character. If you're playing 4th edition, Paladin right up there. Yes. Play Paladin in 4th edition. Play any class in 4th edition. 4th edition is everything is the same. So if you're playing 4th edition, go ahead, play whatever class you want, because everything is the same. That's pretty much it. Let me think. Build a simple character. Okay, so character concept. 1. Get a character concept. Get on the path of what your character is going to do. In the first game, obviously not. Just get the rules down. But second game, third game, as the game goes on, get a concept on how your character reacts, on how your alignment works. If you're playing chaotic good, play chaotic good. Learn what chaotic good really means. Because chaotic good doesn't mean do whatever you want as long as it's good. It's do whatever you want in the goodness. I know that didn't make sense. So like, let's say you save an orphanage from taxes, or let's say, okay, that's bad. Okay, here we go. Let's say you're a good character, really, really hungry, and okay, chaotic good was just bad off. Let's say you're playing a lawful good. Well, lawful good means you follow the laws of good. You follow your laws. It doesn't mean you follow the town's laws, or does it? It's up to your character, but as soon as you start following the town's laws, you have to keep following the town's laws. If you suddenly stray off towards your own laws, well, that's going to be up to the DM on how well you can do that. Let's say the town's laws, you can't attack the townspeople. Okay, that's easy. I'm not attacking the townspeople. Well, what if the townspeople uprises against the knights? Well, shoot. I can't attack the townspeople, but they're uprising against me. That's going to be a hard choice, but so are you going to follow the town's laws, or are you going to start strafing off into actual lawful good, which is your own laws? Chaotic good really doesn't matter as long as it's good. Neutral, I always don't like neutral, because chaotic neutral or neutral good always strays straight off into neutral evil. Always. If you always play neutral, you're gonna turn neutral evil, because fucking neutral. Yeah. Like, I don't have enough food to eat. Oh shoot, I'm gonna steal stuff. That's neutral evil. That's not chaotic neutral. And the DM needs to point that out. Need to start striking against that. So as long as you follow a good concept for your character. My concept for a character was he got drunk a lot. He was chaotic good, but he got drunk a lot. And he just helped out the party. That was the good aspect. The chaotic aspect was drinking. He got drunk a lot. And he ended up just fucking things over in town. But he didn't fuck up the campaign. Don't try and fuck up the campaign, but just, have fun with it. If you don't like your first character, which could happen, ask the DM if you want to make a new character. And usually the DM will be like, yeah, I'll be fine. Because a lot of times, like Rangers, I forgot Rangers, don't play Ranger as your first character. But, like Rangers will take favorite enemy hobgoblins. Well, there's undead in the campaign. Well, shoot. I should have taken favorite enemy undead. And usually the DM will let you change that or let you play a different character if you really wanted to. And if you don't want to make a character, someone will inevitably help you make a character. Demo characters. I have a ton of demo characters. I used to run demo days, but I like doing that. I like building characters with people. It's fun. It's fun to see what they want to do, because a lot of times it's different from what I think they're going to do. So it's always fun. So number 1, have fun with it. Number 2, integrate into the party. But those are the 2 number 1 rules. Two rules. 1, have fun. 2, integrate with the party. 3, if you can't integrate with the party and you can't have fun, probably not the game for you, probably not the group for you. Other than that, let me think of anything else. Other than that, it should be smooth sailing from there. I haven't really had problem characters since that guy. Actually 2 guys, but the other guy wasn't too bad. The other guy, in the Navy, I had to start up a new group, and the group was alright. It was a good, consistent group, except for these 2 guys, and it's always going to be like that. But one guy, I couldn't stand anymore. I had to kill him off, and I did. He came back in a different campaign. I didn't see that coming, but he came back, and I knew. That's a time. That's for a different time, but yeah. The other guy wasn't too bad. He was just very stiff on his role playing, and I understand it. It did infuriate me at the time, but I understand that because the game is new. It's what do I do? It's very very hard. I'm actually going to talk about that right now. He's playing a samurai, which is fine in 3.5. We're still playing 3.5. We played 3.5 throughout most of the time. So he's playing a samurai, and our mutual friend, he was playing a samurai as well. So they were going to be samurai brothers. That's fine. So they did, and so we did like a half of a adventure. We did a half of an adventure on one thing, and then I was like, okay, now I'm going to switch it on to your guys' campaign, your guys' character adventure. So I did, and what happened was they went back to their original country, the samurai, with the group, and when they got there, a demon had been summoned up. Balor, this motherfucker, had been summoned up, and they were level 7, I think, but I had everything under control. So Balor come up and just wiped out the palace, just wiped everything out. It killed his family in front of him. Like the other brother, the more experienced player, I think he was down for the count. and the demon just literally just blah. I just kill out his parents and just gone. Just gone. I think he did something else, but he was just gone. And I was like, how does your character feel about this? Bad. Yeah, I feel bad. Anything else? No, I just feel bad. Shoot. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Alright. Yeah, moving on. Let's just move on. Mead, your character wakes up. Mead was the other samurai brother. Your character wakes up, and you see the corpses of your beloved family, and he goes, "Oh no, we lost! No!" He's like, "I'm furious. I'm gonna find this demon, even if it takes me to hell." It's like, that's right. That's how you roleplay. That's how you do it. Yeah. They didn't get there, but things happen. Anyway, closing thoughts, just have fun, integrate with group, try and role play if you can. If you can't, just, have fun with it. Jack the question ball out.